firefighter was my husband, Mike Powers. He belonged to the Libertytown Fire Department in Libertytown, Maryland. He volunteered there through the fire departments for about 50-some years with different fire departments like Brunswick, Carroll Manor, and Libertytown. We had been married would have been 50 years in this year, 2022. He enjoyed volunteering, driving, helping with fundraisers, the carnival. He just loved, and the grandkids all liked to go down to the firehouse when he was down there and just hang out and do stuff with him.
So our firefighter Michael and I were actually probably better friends as firemen before I ever joined the family. So I actually was able to be on some calls with Mike before I met his daughter Shelly, and then Shelly and I got together and we got married, and I was trying to make Mike proud of me and kind of follow in his footsteps too. So I'm a volunteer firefighter, I'm a paid firefighter. So we all did it together, and he loved nothing more than to come down and help us out even at my volunteer house and drive us on the engine. We'd come up here to Emmitsburg when Emmitsburg had functions, and we'd drive their apparatus, and he would always call me and say, hey, you think they need another driver? Absolutely, Mike, you come drive me anytime. So I enjoyed that thoroughly.
Our firefighter was my father-in-law. He lived and breathed for the fire department, volunteered for over 50 years with the carnival. The boys would go down, he always worked the same chance stand, the same thing over and over again. That was just his thing to do. Each year, look forward for the carnival for that. The grandkids went down and helped out, so.
My firefighter was my grandfather, always called him Pappy, and every single time we had sports games, doesn't matter what, he would drop what he was doing, whether call off work or if he was doing anything around the house, he would make sure to always make it to our baseball games, flag football games, and then when I started playing hockey, every single game, he never missed a game.
He volunteered at Brunswick where he lived in Brunswick when he first started out. And then he was in the service, and then he came back, and I met him in 72, and we got married in 72. And he just kept on volunteering. That's his thing. He just enjoyed it.
One of the memories I always have is my two boys, his grandsons. They would always come home and get into something or do something. We'd tell them no, and they said, well, Pappy let me do it. So I told these guys, we're gonna drive out to their house one day, and my boys are gonna be on the roof naked running around because Pappy said it was okay. So things like that, he let them do anything. Some things that we wouldn't let them do at the house, but they always said, Pappy let us do it, so it's okay.
Ironically enough, to go along with what Rocky said, I know in my heart of hearts that Michael was a stern man when growing up in the Army and taught his daughter as well. And like Rocky said, that the grandchildren were able to do whatever they wanted. And then it came along the great-grandchild. So GPAP was wrapped around his finger when he was a little baby. And this is my grandson now, and he's able to do whatever he wants. He's the golden child, just like Michael would want it, right?
So some of the greatest memories I've had is he gave us all nicknames, and he always called me Champ. And every hockey game, every time I'd make a save or do something good, I'd always hear "Way to go, Champ," and I swear to this day I still hear it.
All right, so who remembers Tennessee would go through the tunnel from Gatlinburg to Pigeon Forge? Mike would have to put the window down and yell, "Hello!" so we could all hear it echo through the tunnel.
Yes, that's right.
We had so many volunteers and career staff at the hospital with us. As soon as he was brought in by ambulance, they're with us the entire time at the house, funeral home to, viewing to the funeral that day, and keep in contact with us. Every time I see them, I thank them, I hug them, and tell them, glad that they were there and are still here for us.
Coming from a fire department family that we all are, we all have some level of attributes within the fire department, from fire department to auxiliary to EMTs to everything. And I believe that we all believe that, nothing like this will ever happen to us. And then when it did, to be on the other side of the coin for the change. We've been to several, brothers and sisters that have passed along, and it was absolutely surreal the way that, everybody reached out to us, from Fire Hero families to the National Fall Firefighters Foundation to Frederick County to the funeral home and everybody. It was absolutely surreal, and I mean, a lot of it was a blur at times because everybody just had a story, and we all, we helped each other, and it was absolutely, like I said, it was absolutely amazing.
One thing I remember is fire departments from all over the state came up, and I was career in Alexandria, Virginia. And the fire chief sent my station, the crew, up for the funeral. They came up, brought apparatus up, and Stauffer Funeral Home that took care of the burial. One thing, I've been to more than enough fire department funerals, but I've never seen one where he made a call and the chief co from Frederick County made the call to have the Maryland State Police helicopter aviation come over, and they actually did a dip and a bow as they played taps. It was really moving.
And also the president of the fire, I think he was President Chip Jewell, he came and picked me up, and he was with us 24/7. He went to the funeral home. He helped arrange all the food for afterwards. We didn't have to worry about, finding somebody to do the food, and they ended up setting up at the firehouse because they didn't know how many people would be there. They figured about 200 to 300 people would be there. So they had it at the firehouse, and they had it televised. It was on TV. So yeah, Chip Jewell has been there, and now they're just, keep doing little things that say, hey, can we do this, can we do that for you? So we have his gear down in the firehouse in a display case. And so little man this goes down and says, hi, Pappy, and he knows where Pappy is. Gavin, what do you do at the graveyard? What do you wipe off? What do you do when...
What do we do?
Pappy.
So, again, GPAP's little boy here, myself, he's adamant that we have to go clean him off. The caretakers mow and do all that stuff, and he makes me bring a jug of water, a roll of paper towels, and we wipe off the headstone. And I'm not superstitious. I believe there is an afterlife, but there is a little bird stuck in front of the headstone that's it's only got one wing now. But no matter if it's a calm day or not, when we're there, it is spinning. So I can only imagine that Mike is there shining down on us and saying, y'all are doing a good job, right?
And what do? Kiss the what? You kiss the headstone every time and tell him what?
Bye.
I knew they had that coffee club that they always went down in the morning to have coffee down there when he wasn't working always. And that day that he passed away, they didn't think he was going to be, they thought he was at work, but he showed up early in the morning. They had 3 calls or 2 calls before, and they had run 2 calls before all this last call, and they had their coffee and talked, and he came home and was getting ready for a graduation party for our granddaughter, and he got this call, and then he said, I'll be right back, and he never showed back up. And Tammy and I think Colby was there. Colby was helping clean it up, and we heard the call of the firefighter down, and Tammy says, that's Dad. I just know it's Dad. He was a good provider, and he cared about his family.
I think of very particular. He had notes and drawings and pencil marks of every little thing. Dates of filters changed, stuff like that. He was very particular, and I've tried to emulate that and try to keep him, keep that going, but I don't think I do near as good a job as he did.
He was always supportive and loving of us all, making sure he made every sports game, was always there cheering us on, and whenever we needed something, he was there to get it for us.
For my dad, he was supportive, caring, always there to help. Whenever I needed help with the kids, whatever, he would drop what he was doing and he would be there to help us.
My dad was one that you could rely on, pick up a phone. He would make sure, he would call you, and first thing out of his mouth was, am I bothering you? No, you're not bothering us. He would call, happy birthday, any holiday, phone, pick up, call, just miss that. My dad was, of course, our hero. He was very caring. You pick up the phone, call, he'd call you back. We tell you, call on your birthday, any holiday, just miss that completely.
Mike was a hard worker, whether it be his normal job or fire department. He was the first one to get down there to go on a call, first one to help with bingo. I think he even cleaned the fire station.
He did.
He would go down and clean up after banquets and different things. So he was hard working, whether it was volunteer or getting paid.
Mike was a man that his life was well lived. He enjoyed life. He absolutely enjoyed his children, and then it got even better with grandchildren and great-grandchildren.
Here's to you, with that smile on your face. Here's to you, and what time won't erase, to this moment we share, to the love